My name's Jason.
Hey, what's up? I'm Max. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hey, did you read I see you have The Great Gatsby. Have you read it?
Yeah, I did. It was a great book.
Really?
Yep.
Do you want to maybe talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Let's go into it.
Sure.
I actually have an analysis about my topic, and I talked about the American dream and the national trauma that's in this book.
Elaborate. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Well,
the American dream and...
well, yeah. So this novel, of course, you read it, of course.
Yeah, it takes place in 1920s,
Yeah,
you know,
1920s.
early 1900s.
And it's about a man named Gatsby, and it's not just a flashy novel story about careless wealthy people or a failed love story. Instead, it gives a clear view about the national trauma that's shown in different kind of racial tensions that was present in the 1920s America.
You know, that's good, and I like that. I think that's a good way to percept it. I kind of perceived it in the same way, except, you know, similarly, I also noticed the American dream as a theme in the story as a whole. Yeah, but I perceived it more as it being a scam towards, you know, new money versus old money. That's more what I was able to do.
What makes it a scam?
Into. Well, just, you know, it shows how it's not made out to be what it's supposed to be, you know? When you think of the American dream, you think of, like, white picket fences, a wife, two kids, a beautiful home, and money to be well off, right?
So what's the real perception of American dream?
Well, is the perception. But the truth behind it is that no matter how much you work, you'll never really be accepted by those around you, or those that are old money, as said in the book. And that no matter what, you can think you're all powerful or whatever the case may be, but you'll never be accepted by those who are old money.
So you're saying that the American dream isn't even a thing, it's just a...
I don't think it's not a thing. I think it is a thing. I just think very few actually live what it's supposed to be. Everything else is just an illusion and a lie that we are forced to live in the American system. I think that's how I perceived it, and I think it relates to real life as well. So I think that's why this book is so amazing, and I'm so glad I read it.
Yeah, I mean, especially the characters in The Great Gatsby, their choices and behaviors, they just strongly influence the atmosphere filled with white supremacy and intense nationalism. But come on, bro.
Time out. Time in. You were saying?
We're gonna cut that out.
That's gonna be cut.
So yeah, the conflict of the dream, where it really conflicts with it in the novel, it's a clash between the two versions of the American dream. The one version being the old money, and the other version being the new rising persuade by the outsiders. And so what happens, the national trauma comes from the view of seeing others' success as a threat to to what you've accomplished. Like Gatsby and Nick feeling threatened. And this is where the American dream turns into competition. And Fitzgerald, which I had my scholarly article, he shows it with the word...
F. Scott?
Oh wait, yeah, F. Scott Fitzgerald, sorry.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. It's all, he shows it with the word rivalry.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think that's similar to what I kind of dove into, like I said earlier, but I like how you developed your idea there. I thought that was good.
Let me actually show you in page 16 of this book.
16, you said?
Yeah, you could pull it up. You can follow along with me here.
Yeah.
Let me find it here.
I'm there.
It says, the idea is if we don't look out the white race, we will be utterly submerged. It's all scientific stuff. It's been proved. So that's where it just relates to where my argument comes in with the rivalry between the outsiders and the old money, which is where I just found it interesting.
Yeah, I like how you develop that idea and your perception of it, but I'm kind of gonna bounce off of that, of what you said, and kind of go into how I believe it's just an illusion, and it's all, you know, just a facade that all plays out in your head, right? So, you know, and you can check this out in chapter 6. I can't remember exactly what page it was. But in chapter 6, I want to say it was. Anyway, the setting of the story, this was around when Nick and Gatsby were talking, and it was about Daisy, around chapter 6 time. They're talking about Daisy, and Nick's telling him that he can't repeat what's happened in the past. To which Gatsby replies, "Why, of course I can." And I thought this was a perfect example of how the money plays a part into his mindset and the way he lives. Like, he thinks with this money he's an all-powerful being and that he can do or get whatever he wants. And
But deep down,
but deep down, the truth is,
I should get into that more deeper into that.
Right, and then it's like deep down, the truth is no one's ever gonna truly accept him to be that, but it's all an illusion that'll play in your mind.
He just thinks the more money he has, the better he is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but it's all just an illusion that's played out.
He thinks he can just solve his problems with filling it all with money, but there's more than that. There's deeper meanings to life.
Exactly, and he believes in his perception that the American dream is being an all-wealthy being, and that. But truthfully, all he wants is Daisy. So is he really living the American dream, or is it just?
Is he really?
Is he really?
Can he really?
Lock in. So yeah, I think he just,
Yeah, I agree. It's just a big mindset of his that he just thinks his money can solve his problem. That's really not true.
Precisely.
I actually have a cool word choice that Fitzgerald uses in page 69.
69.
Yeah. He uses the word haughty rivalry. And the reason he used this is just to express his book into a deeper meaning. And the rivalry between Nick Gatsby and the passengers, it shows just a type of competition. And Fitzgerald uses the specific words to show the fixed racism and social rules in the 1920s.
I don't know why it never happened for you.
Also, the passengers looked at Nick and Gatsby with a type of look that the way that Fitzgerald describes it, it's like you can just see the image, which is very cool. And with the passengers giving that kind of look, it just made the boundaries that were in the 1920s a lot less secure.
Yeah, and I like your word choice of what was it?
Haughty rivalry.
Haughty rivalry, which I think is a good term because it builds an image and it also gives an aggressive tone to it, which I think perfectly fits the 1920s as. Yeah, it's nasty. Everyone's playing each other. Everything's dirty. It's not by the rules. I mean, we can go off topic and talk about the problems with alcohol when alcohol got banned around this time.
Yeah.
People still found a way to drink alcohol in illegal bars, and we can go off topic completely and still talk about that. At the time, America was a dirty place. So I think this word choice is perfect, and it fits the narrative and it fits the time and place it is. And I think it fits perfectly with a word that I found towards the end of the book. Nick describes Tom and Daisy as careless people who smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money, which I think perfectly matches yours as well, as it gives that aggressive tone, and it is such an aggressive choice of words. And it shows that Tom and Daisy were destructive towards people's lives throughout the story.
Yeah.
And it shows how they're able to use their wealth to protect them, which, again, goes back to my main idea of the American dream being a scam and income inequality all the time. No matter what, if you work towards something, if you're working class, if you're new money, you'll never be viewed the same as people who are old money and have that generational wealth being passed down.
Yeah.
No matter what. And there will always be that income inequality, and the people who are higher ups, the elites and all that, they'll always have that protection of their wealth.
Yeah.
And that's shown clearly in this book as we see Tom and Daisy walk off perfectly fine at the end, but we see Gatsby die, Myrtle die, everyone's lives change except for theirs. So I thought that was perfect word choice to show how nasty of a time it really was throughout the story.
Yeah, definitely expresses it in a really good way.
For sure.
There is another scene that I didn't mention too much in my analysis. It's the Queensboro Bridge scene, and it's just a scene where Nick and Gatsby are driving into New York, and it just shows Gatsby's world isn't just a space about like wealthy people, but it reflects on the society that was a strict social and racial boundaries, and they were starting to break down and growing social tension. And then that's where I lead into my connection to my scholarly article, which the scholarly article written by Peter Wakefield shows that Tom Bushman's and racism is a lot more than just a personal flaw he struggles with. It reflects on the problems of extreme nationalism. And the ways Tom would behave would connect to tensions in the early 1900s, especially fears with immigration and social change. And another thing is Wakefield mentions that the old money class was attempting to hold on to its power and its status and excluding anyone they saw as an outsider, like including Gatsby. And that's how interesting it is how they just got off free and everything. All the new money are all just...
And I guess that's what's great about this book, is it develops so many different ideas and ideologies of the 1920s so well.
I'm really glad I read it, honestly.
I'm really glad I read it as well, because it is a great book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also had a scholarly article, if you care to know.
Yeah, of course, I'll hear it.
I read it. It's by William E. Kane. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a...
Oh, I've heard him. He has great articles, actually. I was reading one of his the other day.
Yeah. And
Very smart guy.
yeah, and he talks a lot, and this is where I get the idea of the income inequality. He talks a lot about it in this scholarly article, and I think it connects to everything I've said from earlier, how the American dream is like rigged and limited, because like I said, no matter what, you'll never be truly accepted. And this also bounces off of your idea of the racism that you mentioned. Racism can be said however you want to call it, but truthfully, it's, discrimination as a whole is seen in many different aspects of life. And that's seen throughout like racial discrimination, but also like wealth and income discrimination. And the book develops the idea very well, and it shows that like no matter how hard you work, you'll never be accepted by the ones who are born into it.
Yeah.
And that, the American dream is just a facade.
So Gatsby worked for his money, correct?
Gatsby worked for his money. He had to get it up out the money.
Yeah, I find it interesting how like he's getting flamed for something he worked for, and then everyone else is just getting everything handed to them. I just find that pretty interesting.
Exactly. Because you would think like someone who worked so hard to get that much money would be
praised.
But I guess you can look at it another way of like how he got the money wasn't the most.
Yeah, that's also true.
It's dirty money.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a very interesting scholarly article. I like the way it refers to the...
And bouncing back even to the dirty money aspect of it, must be, we can make connections even to the movie. You watched the movie, right?
Yeah, that was a great movie. I actually have connections to my movie related to my analysis.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, great movie, great actor.
Great actor. But in the movie they show, you're able to really see Gatsby's wealth to a different extent. They show it through different effects, his extravagant parties, his luxury vehicles.
You get a nice image of
You get a nice image compared to having to create an image in your mind from reading the story. So we see that Gatsby can purchase probably any materialistic item that he wants. He's shown to be as an all-powerful being with dumb rich with a ton of money. But truthfully, all he really wants is Daisy. Like that's his goal, that's his dream. And that can be seen as his American dream to some. And although he has a lot of money, it doesn't fulfill his true wants. And even in the story and in the movie, they both show how he's throwing all these parties, but that was never Daisy's interest in the first place.
That's not what she was looking for.
It never was. So you could say, he has all this money, but is he really living the American dream, or is it just an illusion formed around his wealth?
Yeah, that's almost exactly what my connection was.
Yeah.
My connection is, I titled it as visualizing the flashy story to the dark reality. And the movie just shows a beautiful image of everything he has. And the writer uses wild, bright, just over-the-top luxury of Gatsby's parties to hide the fact of how anxious and broken society really was in this era. And it's just these quick camera movements and the chaotic party scene makes the people seem that they are trying to distract themselves from the damage that the war might have caused and the corruption just underneath all of it. And a cool, interesting thing is while all the music is going, everyone's happy, and there's a sudden change once the music stops. It just shows how tense everything was and how these problems never truly went away. They were just hiding it with these like flashy, cool effects.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I like the word choice there, the flashy story to the dark reality. I
Yeah.
thought that was.
That's also where my question comes. It's you actually have the answer to it because it's similar to your connection. It's how does the movie show that Gatsby is? Well, how does the movie show that Gatsby's story is about national trauma and not just a romance story? And that just relates to the movie, and it's just he uses his extreme parties to mask a sense of a deep sense of emptiness.
Yeah. Which is sad. It truly is, but
Yeah.
it's the life some people gotta live.
But I really like how the book and the movie, or like, because I read this book, and the movie, it's cool to see it really come to life. After reading this book, it's cool to see it come alive into a movie.
Right. I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I guess I now I want to ask you. You know, we've been talking about the American dream and my thoughts on how I believe that it's rigged and it's a scam towards those who work for it. I want to know, do you agree with that? Was Gatsby truly never going to be accepted by those around him, or do you think there was like any?
There was a chance he could have been accepted.
Yeah. Or do you think it's all just rigged from the start?
I think it was all just rigged from the start. I think this like rivalry between these two and old money, new money they just can't compat. I think.
I agree.
What do you have for that?
I mean, I also agree. I mean, I've been saying it for the past 15 minutes now. I totally agree. I think that, you know, it's all limited to a fortunate few who are given generational wealth. And that no matter how hard you work, you'll never be viewed the same as those who have that money passed down. And,
Yeah,
you know,
they're just two different kinds of people.
two different kinds of people, yeah.
I got a cool thing for you.
What's that?
Let me hear what you think. What do you think Gatsby's like net worth was about?
I mean, it was the 1920s, so this was like,
Money was worth a lot.
money
more.
was worth, yeah, and I think this is before or after the Great Depression? Or was it during the Great Depression? It was 1920s, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't remember my history that well. Okay, so the Great Depression was... Sorry.
I can't wait to read this book again.
It was 1929 to 1939. So this was before the Great Depression, before the infamous stock market crash.
Yeah.
So at the time, the economy must have been booming. This was post a war. So he had to have had a lot of money for him to have all these luxury items. I'm saying anywhere close to 100 million, 200 million. It's probably my guess.
Let me tell you something. You're far off, brother. Gatsby was allegedly worth $1 billion,
$1 billion.
and that's insane.
You know, now that you say that, I'm interested to see what is $1 billion in the 1920s.
To see what he would fit
Worth
in this
now.
society.
Yeah, I feel like it might be worth. You know, I feel like it's gonna be worth less.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can load up for me again. 1 billion in the 1920s is equivalent to purchasing power to about $16.65 billion today. That is insane.
That's a lot, eh?
That's a lot. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's insane. So yeah, he's a wealthy man, wealthy for
Yeah.
sure.
Gatsby's death is also, it's like crazy. It's just all this chaos, and it's just over.
Yeah,
One shot.
I feel like it was a kind of an anticlimactic death. You'd expect something bigger to happen,
Yeah.
and then he just gets slimed out by Myrtle's man.
Yeah, that's insane. It was just all into one silent thing.
And speaking on that fact, because I'm thinking of the scene in the movie where we see Myrtle died. Tom's with Nick and Jordan, and they're driving back, and they see Myrtle's dead, and Myrtle's husband sees the car that Gatsby was obviously driving, or he saw Gatsby driving, so he assumes this is the car that hit.
Yeah.
Or no, he saw them driving Gatsby's car coming in, so they thought
Gatsby's not driving, wasn't he?
no, it was Daisy.
Yeah.
But they saw, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and the way Tom handles that situation, and it kind of makes me think, like, in your opinion, what do you think makes Tom out to be a worse person, the book or the movie?
I would say the movie, just because you could see it really. You could like feel his emotions. But I'm not entirely sure why. What do you think?
In my opinion, I think the movie, but I think it's just it depends on how you interpret it. Like obviously, I think
There's also different word choices that are used, but
yeah, and I think it's the way you interpret it. I just thought, I didn't think Tom was that bad of a guy in the book. Maybe I just interpreted things wrong. In the movie, it's more easy to interpret. It's I can visually see.
I mean, because this book, I read it and I didn't feel like I
read it too.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel. I felt more from the movie.
Yeah.
So.
Because I read this whole book, and reading it, I didn't like.
I read the whole thing.
Yeah. I didn't get like.
Yeah.
But from the movie, I felt Tom's.
Yeah. But I read it all though.
Yeah, me too. Great book.
And isn't it ironic how Tom is like arguably one of the worst characters in the story, and he's a terrible person, but he walks off perfectly fine.
That's just how this world is sometimes.
That's how it is.
Some
That's
people-
that income inequality I was talking about earlier. It's just it'll come and bite you.
Some people just can't have it.
Is there anything else you want?
Nah, man, that's all I got, brother. That was a great conversation.
That was a
nice
great
to meet you.
conversation. It was nice to meet you too,
Maybe
man.
we should read this book again together.
Yeah, maybe I'll read it again because I did read it.
Yeah.
I read the whole thing.
It was a great book.
Great book.
Have a good day, bro.
You too, man.